So I'm David Walker. I'm a paediatric oncologist at the University of Nottingham in England, and I work at the Children's Brain Tumor Research Centre in that university. You were asking about what the International Consortium of Low-Grade Glioma is, and I'm one of the three chairmen who's initiated this group in the mid-1990s in order to promote trials of new therapies in children with low-grade glioma. And it links three national groups at that time. Italy, centred in Padua with Professor Perilongo, Germany, led by Dr. Astrid Gneckow, and myself in the United Kingdom, working with the Children's Cancer and Leukemia Group, which is in Britain. We recruited over 2,000 patients into an international trial of chemotherapy in order to pilot the process of international collaboration and to study the impact and natural history of treatment in this particularly low-grade tumour that occurs very commonly in children. We've reported the results, and the British component of the consortium has published their results this month, and I know that the German component of the consortium is in the process of publishing these results. And this data is being used as part of the PLGA-funded meta-analysis of low-grade glioma cases that's in process at the moment. And so this consortium's been successful in reporting its first study and has gone on to launch a second study called LGG2, which is recruiting patients from 14 different countries now. And so the consortium started off as 3 and has now become 14. And our current trial is a randomized trial, and we're extending recruitment for 2 years, more for statistical reasons, and the study is ongoing.
So those will be patients, pediatric low-grade glioma is the same as pediatric low-grade astrocytoma, correct? And so what are the ages of these children?
So they're from 0 to 18. So we take, in fact, 0 to 21, we're taking up to 21-year-olds in the current study.
And what are you studying exactly? Is it a pediatric trial?
Yes, it's a pediatric trial. So first of all, we've specified the reasons for starting treatment, because low-grade glioma presents quite a problem, is they've got to justify the benefits of treatment against the risks. And some patients have benefit just are best managed just by surgery alone, and some patients need additional treatment with either chemotherapy or radiotherapy, and we've standardized the way we select patients for those additional treatments. We're also interested in the natural history of the disease because it's a very slow process, and we want to understand better the impact of age and histology and the response to therapy on the ultimate outcomes.
What's your best hope for these studies?
I think the studies will first standardize therapy across Europe, and that enhances the quality of care for everybody because it stops the variability, some which occurs naturally without standardized approaches. The second thing is it brings the data together and brings the biological samples together, which then stimulate biological research, which will then unravel the mysteries of what makes these tumors behave in this way.
Where's the future in research, do you believe, for these tumors?
I think is collaboration, particularly in sharing samples. Also promoting rapid testing of new drugs when the opportunities arise by creating efficient subgroups to study the new drugs quickly. And this is going on very successfully in the US and is increasingly happening in Europe.
And if parents had children that wanted to be possible candidates for trial and they lived in the United States, could they contact you?
They can contact us. I think we haven't got the trial running in the US, and there's a lot of regulation that would prevent us recruiting patients directly from America. But there are comparable trials running in the US, and so I don't think there is a need for a transatlantic collaboration with a disease as common as this.
Was the PLGA Foundation helpful in any respect for this?
Well, we had a very successful meeting in Nottingham, which I coordinated in June 2009 with the help of the PLGA, and we couldn't have done it without the PLGA's support. The meeting brought together 40 researchers from across the world who were all interested in the biology research linked to this tumor type. And we had 2 days working very hard together and we developed a shared strategy on how we would take things further forward. The first component of that was to establish a meta-analysis of all the current studies available, and that amounts to over 4,000 cases in total. And the German and UK consortium are able to offer nearly half of those cases because of their prior work. And this will allow us to look at in great detail and with greater statistical power the factors that predict the behavior of tumors and the response to therapy. And linked to that is the Boston Children's Hospital initiative to create an international biobank so that a large sample store linked to these trials can be developed, and then international researchers can share access to that biological sample store, which will accelerate the biological research.
So the